third episode. We have done kind of big picture. We've done narrowing in. I want to talk this episode about scouting. So you're going out of state. You found your area. You picked a handful of spots to hunt. You really are excited about it. What should hunters do to scout if they can go out there ahead of time? Like if you can go out in the summer, what are you doing?
If hunters can actually get there before the season, like they should be literally walking around with Onyx on the entire time. You should be marking where you park. You should be recording your path of where you walked. I've had that a few times where I'm walking through state land or a public area or game area and I find a really cool spot and I'm like, I don't need to record this. I know where I am. And then a couple days later, I'm looking at it again. And I'm like, crap, where was that? Where was that trail? Where was that, historical rub that I found? And if you record your path, you can look exactly where you went and was that a crappy way to get into the spot you were going? Maybe you need to, veer a different way down a trail or follow a different way. It just gives you good feedback on where you should go when you come back.
Quick shout out to another amazing sponsor of ours, Kifaru International. If you're like us and love hunting in some of the toughest places, you know how crucial having the right gear is. Kifaru makes some of the toughest, most reliable backpacks and tents out there, and it's all made right here in America. Whether you're hunting in the backcountry or headed to your favorite deer stand, Kifaru has you covered. Keep your eyes out this year, especially as they're launching a ton of amazing new products like the new Arc frame that just came out. So next time you gear up for an adventure, make sure to check out Kifaru International. I've always wanted to find an area that I liked and walk every single major deer trail and mark the path. So I always had every major path like in an area done. I've never done it. I've started it and then it was with another app that I was using and it crashed halfway through and I never knew. And I was just like, that's a sign I'm not going back. No, I like it. It's like go out, historical data, is there a community scrape? Is there an old line of rubs? Or are you seeing signs that people are like, one thing I like to do when I'm scouting is if I see balloons that have, and everybody is like, if you spend enough time in the woods, you found a Mylar balloon. What is so weird about a Mylar balloon is that we found that they settle in low areas with different air pressure, I guess. And man, if they don't just settle right near buck beds, I don't know that I have the science for it, but it seems like if you find a place where a balloon has just drifted off into the woods and settled, there's a good chance it's by a buck bed.
I would agree with that. I mean, there's been plenty of balloons. You'll text me and be like, hey, found another one. And sure enough, there'll be some good buck sign around there. Like it's something with the climate, like we are in the weather and how like
it's where the air settles,
drop and everything works. A buck will just stay right there because it just works in his favor.
How should hunters then use Onyx to find like promising areas?
You're looking for topographical maps. You're looking for terrain features. So when I say that, you're looking for ridges. You're looking for breaks in different styles of agriculture. A field edge to a swamp, a field edge to a thicket or a clear cut or different changes in that way. And then make sure to throw in the topographical map. Some people don't know how to read it or can't picture it in their mind. They're looking at all the lines and freaking out. But there's a great way to look. It's if you go into Google and say, hey, how do I read a topographical map? You can find a pretty good way of going, okay, that's the point or that's a ridge point. This is a draw moving up. Most of the times, draws are just, points all stacking on each other. It's a great way to, like a travel route. You can look for benches and saddles and dips and then just elevation changes that you won't see with a typical, aerial map. And then just start marking what looks good.
OnX is the title sponsor of our podcast here at the Fair Chase, and it's a must-have app for all of us who love to explore the outdoors. Whether you're hunting or hiking or fly fishing, OnX gives you detailed, accurate maps right at your fingertips. With property boundaries, topographical features, and trail data, you'll always know where you are and where you're headed. You'll also likely be able to figure out where that big buck is headed to. Plus, their offline maps mean you're covered even in the most remote locations. OnX is the ultimate tool for outdoor navigation, making every adventure safer and more enjoyable. Download OnX today and explore with confidence. And then you mentioned like finding transition areas, right? This might be controversial to say, but I do like finding spots off of private land into public land in corners, right? Or like edges are hard areas to get to, that if it's a spot that you know people aren't really hunting, but it's private land, you don't have access to it, you can at least catch the deer going and coming from that spot. You know, I was just out, I was telling you prior to this podcast, there were some cameras out. I threw one, and hopefully you know who I'm talking about, on the corner of Farmer Tom's Farmer Tom's land. And I know I'm going to get some good deer on there at some point, but it's on public land. It's well in. It's not like you're hunting the line, which is kind of a jerk move. But at the same time, you know where they're going. You know they're not pressured in there. It's a sanctuary. They're going to come in and out. All right, so that's nice and all well and good, but not everybody. And you said this in a previous episode, like you can't always go to the spot that you want to ahead of time. Most of the time, you got, 4 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids. You got a litter of kids, truly a litter. And so you're not just like bombing down 8 hours away, leaving Lori home with the kids. Like, what are you doing instead if you can't visit?
First off, a litter is like 6 to 7. We almost have a starting lineup. But yeah, you can't get to all these places whenever you want to, unless you plan for it, especially an on-state trip. Alaska, for example, when we went a couple years ago, there's no way we're bowing up to Alaska and checking out these coastal areas. Like it's strictly reading a map and picking the best possible spot that I can find from a map or what other information that I can find. And really that's what you're going to be stuck with. Yeah. Searching forums, looking at maps, reading, maybe calling a buddy in the area. Maybe he can bomb down there and check it out for you. You just got to get creative. Like, you don't have the ability to be there. You gotta be flexible and think around it.
Well, and flexibility is big too, like we talked about before, because you can get there, and I mean, every time I hunt, this happens. On the map, it looks like something, and then you get there, and it's totally like it could not be more different. And so, just being able to get out there and be like, "Ah, well, toss that idea. Not married to it. You know, try to find something, something that maybe is a little bit more just better. You know, so flexibility. I mean, again, that's going to be the recurring theme. And I think any good whitetail hunter, any good hunter, really, if you can be flexible and not too attached to a plan, and being able to like, pivot intelligently, I think that is like one of the things that separates people from, like, certain hunters from real hunters.
Well, yeah, even a simple fact of the hunt itself. In everyone's eyes, you're going to go out there, you're going to sit, a deer's going to come in right before last light, it's going to turn broadside, and you're going to make a shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people practice 20 yards out broadside on a deer or a target. They don't ever change it up because that's what's comfortable for them. And anything out of that comfort zone, sometimes some people don't know how to react to that. So just having that in the mindset of, this hunt might be different than what I imagined it would be. These trees are way taller, or this is way thicker than what I thought. How can I now pivot from that and still be successful?
When people talk about like having a kill, like that guy's a killer, like he's got a killer mindset, he's a killer. I think part of it is that flexibility. It's like, I have this plan, this is happening, this is my moment, this is my opportunity and a new plan, I'm going for it. And like, you just don't hesitate, you go for it. I feel like there's part of that, like, he's a killer. That's kind of the mentality that you have.
That, and I would like to feed off of that, like having the patience not to go.
Yeah.
Like being able to say, nope, I'm not doing that right now. It's not the right time. We might be able to do it the next day, or maybe when we come back. But like,
I need you to teach me that. That's never been my strength. It's like, I like it, I'm in, and I'm halfway down the trail, and you've been like, hey, slow down. Like, that's
usually because you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, well, I'm lost. Totally turned around. This episode is also brought to you by 2O Gear, innovators in technical hunting clothing. 2O is a newer company. It's based right here in Michigan, and whether you're hunting elk in the mountains or chasing antelope in the plains or traipsing through swamps after that ruddy buck, 2O has you covered with premium jackets and pants, merino wool layers, everything you could possibly need to stay comfortable in the woods. Their products are engineered for functionality and durability, ensuring you stay protected in any conditions. Plus, their camo is really effective. We're big fans. So Don't take our word for it, though. Go to 20gear.com and check it out. All right. So, map and getting lost. What about like when you're looking at, you pull up Onyx, you throw it on your computer and you're scouting. What are things that you're looking for? Like, what are some key like features? You mentioned topography. You want certain things, but like, yeah, what are you looking for?
My best e-scouting success story for you would be to focus on little elevation changes, right? They don't have to be big drastic ridge lines or huge bowls or anything like that. It can just be a little subtle, like dried up creek bed, right? Throw on a topo map and just look for it. It's just a little dip sometimes in that flat area. And if you can hone in on those areas, deer will feel more comfortable in that scenario and in that area, at least to my experience, rather than just walking through the woods and saying, oh, there's an edge of a swamp and we'll hunt that. Because everyone can go on a map and look and find those.
There's a picture of me and you. We can't drive yet. Maybe we're 16. We're in camo and we're holding our bows. I've got like even a face mask on. You know the picture I'm talking about. That night we just went and found a field and sat along the edge of it. Right. I look back and it's like we had no idea what we were doing and we were still kind of learning, and we didn't have people to teach us these kind of things. And so it's funny as you kind of go down that progression. It's like, if you think about it a little more, like what are the odds a deer, goes to this point in this whole field that you've never been to before? We just showed up and parked there, as opposed to like what you were talking about, where it's like you find funnels. These are the to and from. You're trying to find the difference, the in between, and you're trying to find spots that take all this movement, which could be a 4-8 trails off this main trail that kind of go, and you're trying to look for a spot that funnels them down into one again. So like you said, creek crossings or like dips or something like that. Like I just put one up and I haven't gotten a freaking deer on it yet, but I've been getting so many bobcats, and apparently it works for bobcats too, right? So it's like, yeah. Funnels are great. Now let's end with this question, and I think I know how you're going to answer it. So, and we get this question a lot. It's like, oh, you guys talk about going out to hunt. I get 7 days or I get 5 days, my whole year of vacation away from my family. This is my time, and you're telling me I need to scout, and I'm not. That's not hunting. That's scouting. I'm not wasting my time. Like, how do I figure out the difference between like scouting and hunting? How much should I scout versus how much should I hunt when I'm in this new place that I've never been to before? So like, how are you doing that?
It's hunting season and we're scouting like a new area.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my bow every time.
Right.
Like I'm hunting while I'm scouting.
Yeah.
There's a guy by the name of Dan Fitzgerald who we used to watch. And then one of the quotes in this movie that he has, like his hunting films, the old style
more of a video, VHS.
Yes, yeah. Yes, a VHS.
Run Rampage.
He said in that video, how did he say it? If you're walking out into the woods in hunting season without your bow or gun, it's like walking out into the woods without any clothes on. And that clicked in my mind ever since this day. So if it's hunting season and I'm in a new spot, I'm bringing my bow.
Yeah.
Because there could be that once in a lifetime chance that there's just going to be a buck cruising past you. You can quick set down and go. Like you had one last year. We talked about this last episode. You literally just walking out to this area, there was a buck 12 yards over the hill. If you didn't have your bow and you're just out walking, like how bad would it be you kicking yourself in the nuts, right? Like, why did I not bring my bow or my gun? So if it's hunting season, hunting doesn't stop. But like, I'm definitely walking around looking for things, but like I'm hunting the whole time.
You need to be like, your brain, like bifurcate your brain. Like part of it needs to be like, maybe I'll hunt here later, look at this sign, there's fresh tracks. And the other part needs to be, is there a deer over there? It's like you're doing two things at once. And I feel like, you kind of highlighted it too. It's like, yeah, anytime you're in the woods, you should have your gun, but like also just be in the woods as much as you can. Like the more you're out there, the more you're learning, the more you're seeing, the more you're, you can't run into a deer by chance if you're not in the woods in the first place. So like anytime, like when you're, man, we talk about this a lot, but like if you leave and you're out of state and this is your week to hunt in a whole year, hunt so hard the entire time that they drag you out by the end of it. That you don't leave nothing else in the chamber. Like get it all out. Leave it all out there. And I feel like you're up even your odds of just accidentally running into a deer a bunch. So, all right, let's end this here. I want to come back next time and talk like packing. So what you bring on a trip, what you don't bring. We'll end here, but that's coming up.